everyone. It's Monday. It's 4 o'clock. You know what that means. It's time for the Hostess Next Door. I'm your hostess, Chef Vanessa Kontob. We have a great show for you today. Today's episode is brought to you by Eggland's Best Eggs, and we are cooking some quick and easy breakfast for Thanksgiving or any day when you don't really have a lot of time in the morning, but you got to feed your family. So I've got a wonderful recipe to get started with. It's one of my favorite frittatas. Let's get started. We did a few things in advance, again, to save time in the morning. So what we've done is we started with some onions, about 2 medium onions so that you get a cup of sliced onions. We basically sauteed our onions with a little bit of olive oil, about 2 tablespoons of olive oil and 2 tablespoons of butter, which you see here. You want to go for about 10 minutes and you'll get really nice golden, beautiful onions like you see here. What you want to do is sweat the onions down. They smell really nice. This is actually something I just like having in the kitchen. I mean, I love having caramelized onions. I use them on everything. So you'll see here, it sweats down. Start off with about a cup and you're going to end up with about, I would say, 1/3 of a cup. So it's going to lose a lot of moisture. And this is going to be the base for the frittata. We're also using a cast iron. You can use a non-stick skillet, whichever. If you have a frittata pan, even better. But those are my 3 recommendations. All right, so we're going to let that go for a little bit longer. And then we're going to move over with our other ingredients. I'm going to keep this on low. You want to make sure that you don't burn those onions. Onions have a lot of sugar, so keep an eye on them. As they start to slowly cook, you want to stir periodically just to make sure that they don't burn. So for this recipe, we're going to use 8 Eggland's Best eggs, and so we'll get started. I like to crack my eggs on a board and not on the side of the mixing bowl because that's how you can end up with cracked shells inside. Or, you know, trying to be a little bit too cool and cracking your egg with one hand might end up with the same result. So we'll go ahead and we'll crack our egg right into this bowl. We're going to do 8 eggs. One of the things that my friends always want to do is either crack an egg with one hand or use a knife really fast when they're chopping things. It seems really chefy. All right, so the next thing we're going to add to the recipe is some really nice fresh cheese. I like Reggiano, so we'll go ahead and add that in there. I'm going to put this here. I've got a block of Parmesan Reggiano. You can buy already grated, but I like to do this myself, and we have a nice little microplane here. I'm going to throw that in there. About a 1/2 cup. I'm going to eyeball it. It's cheese. You can't really go wrong if you have a little too much extra cheese. No one's going to be mad at you. So we'll just kind of grate that in there. I love this recipe just because everything is really nice and fresh and very easy to prepare in the morning when you are in a hurry. So we just have a nice grater here. Any kind of grater. You can use a box grater as well. So we're going to use some really nice fresh herbs. We've got parsley, we've got basil, so I'll just pick some from here. I always like having fresh herbs just around, and obviously during like Thanksgiving you're going to have so many fun ingredients for all of your other recipes. So again, this is just stuff that you should have around the house. So I'm going to just chop up. Again, I've got parsley. You could use really anything. If you have, I know a lot of times during Thanksgiving holiday, you're going to have sage and thyme and, you know, so be creative. Frittatas are one of those recipes where you can kind of, you know, just get really creative. So we're going to chop up some basil. Smells so good. Your family's going to really like this too. And it kind of, I think it sort of helps curb a lot of that, is dinner ready yet, that goes on all during the morning and early afternoon on Thanksgiving. I think most families eat in the early evening, maybe between 3 and 5. But all throughout the morning, everyone's going to be in the kitchen wanting to know when is dinner going to be served. So if you can get this on the table early for breakfast, then it'll give you a couple hours of peace. All right, so we'll put our parsley in there. All right, so we are just going to give this a nice little whisk. Our onions are really nice and perfect. I'm just going to give this a little bit of a whisk so you guys can see here. how beautiful. All right. We've added some fresh herbs on top of our fresh Eggland's Best eggs, and so it's just going to have that really nice freshness. This is why I like to add the freshly grated cheese, and everything in here is just really nice and really fresh, and I think you're going to love it. So you can see here we've got our onions, and they're nice and caramelized. I've distributed them really nice and evenly throughout this pan, so you get a nice little bit of onion in every single bite. And now we're going to throw this Eggland's Best egg mixture into our frittata pan. So, and we already have some butter, we have olive oil, so you don't have to worry, especially if you have a non-stick, that's even better. All right. And then at this stage, we just want to give it a little bit of a stir, just like this. And we're going to add our salt. A little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. So this is nice. This is great because you can season right in the pan. And you know, we don't have a lot of dirty dishes here. Just going to season with our salt and pepper. And then just to add that extra level of freshness and flavor, which I love, we're going to put a dollop of ricotta. So I've got this ricotta. I love this ricotta. This is nice. It's hand-packed, whatever. You can find, you know, really nice ricotta cheese in the grocery store. And we're going to make about 4 little dollops. So wonderful. It just kind of has this great creamy texture that works with everything. So you want to just kind of dot that around. I would say about four times. So it's, you don't have to, it doesn't have to be perfect. You just want to make sure everybody's going to get a nice little piece of that. All right, so once we get to this stage, so we're going to go from the stove top and we're going to go straight into the oven, 400 degrees. So we'll go ahead and do that. So we're going to finish it in the oven. Go in. Okay. So I have one that I made for you right before, like I usually do, and look how beautiful this is. I'm so excited. So I love this. It's so beautiful. And another wonderful thing about a frittata is that it's great, really, really warm, and it's also really great room temperature. So if you've got those late morning stragglers that show up to the breakfast table a little bit later, it's going to be amazing and delicious for everyone. All right, so we're going to cut a little piece here. You know, I got to try this for you. All right. You'll cut it just like a pie. I want to make sure I get a nice little piece of ricotta in there. I like to get that perfect bite that has everything. All right, this looks so good. And we'll just cut it out, just like this. And of course, it's still the morning. You might be in a hurry, but you know, you can put a little bit of garnish on there. Why not? It's very nice. And there you go. So this is one of my favorite recipes using Eggland's Best eggs. I love it for Thanksgiving morning or any morning when you are just in a hurry and you have to feed your family. I'm going to take a quick bite because I want to try it. So good. Wow. Did I just pat myself on the back? This is so delicious. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Make sure you stick with us after the break. We have 2 more recipes and another idea for you for Thanksgiving morning or any morning. We'll be right back. We're back, and I've got another great recipe for you when you are in a hurry. This is one of my favorites. I've been making this for several years. It's a slow cooker oatmeal, so it's wonderful. You can actually do it the night before. You put it in the crock pot or your slow cooker. Overnight, you wake up and you're ready to go. So we are going to throw in a lot of really wonderful grains. So obviously, we're going to start with oats. We have 2 different kinds of oats. We have our rolled oats, which are kind of like your more quick oats, and then we have our steel cut oats, which I love the sort of nuttiness and kind of bite to them. So we're going to add both types of oats right into our slow cooker. And then we're going to throw in some quinoa. This is actually really great because this is healthy, but it doesn't necessarily have to feel very healthy for the kids. They might not enjoy that. This is cool. We've got tricolor quinoa here. So we'll put that in there. And then we are going to throw in, these are kind of like a new favorite for me. Instead of raisins or currants, these are dried blueberries. They're so delicious. You can find them usually anywhere. I mean, really, you can find them at the grocery store now. So dried blueberries, we'll put some of those in there. And then I'm also going to just put an apple. Apples are in season right now. You can find them everywhere. If you can get them, local, that's even better. Here in New York, it's just apple picking season. I feel like every weekend someone is inviting me to go apple picking with the kids. It's just beautiful, especially upstate New York. So, if you can find local, even better. But we're gonna just cut one apple. So I'm just taking the peel off. You don't even have to take the peel off, actually. But we'll cut this, we'll dice it. And the wonderful thing is that, if you have a slow cooker, make sure you use it. I feel like so many people have slow cookers and they just kind of collect dust. I mean, this is the perfect time to use this because, again, it frees up your time. And, we're going to be talking over the next couple of episodes are all about Thanksgiving. I'm going to be guiding you guys and helping you. If this is your first Thanksgiving, I hope that you guys, will feel empowered to cook for your family. Because it doesn't have to be scary. And making sure that everybody gets a nice breakfast is just one of those things that you don't have to worry about. So we've got all of our ingredients. We're going to put some aromatics. We have a combination of ground cinnamon and freshly ground nutmeg, so really wonderful. We'll put some of that in there. And then all we have to do at this stage is add water. So we'll go ahead and pour about anywhere from 10 to 12 cups of water. So we'll pour that in there. And then you want to put the lid on. You'll put it on the slow setting. So your crock pot is going to have a low and a high or a warm, whatever yours says. But you want to put it on the lower one because you want to be able to go to sleep and wake up. So we want this to cook for about 6 to 8 hours. So you definitely want to put it on the lower setting. And then in the morning when you get up, hold on. In the morning when you get up, your slow cooker oatmeal will be ready to go. And here's what it looks like. And then you can add different types of garnish. So here I've got my favorite new thing. I think I talked about this already. Coconut sugar. It's so good. It has a nice caramelized taste to it and it's really healthy. It's great for you. I also love bananas. So I'm going to throw some bananas in mine, which I have here. I'm going to put a banana. I love coconut flakes. So I'm going to cut this. Just cut this it's a little bit of a fancy way to cut a banana. But yeah, I'm just going to dice some banana. My 3-year-old loves bananas. He can actually eat 2 or 3 bananas in one sitting. I'm not sure if that's okay, but I let him do it. It's fine. As long as he's having breakfast. All right. So here I've got some that I've already made. So I'm going to throw some berries in here. This is mine. This is also cool because you can dress it up however you want. And I'm definitely going to put a little bit of this coconut sugar right on top. You could use brown sugar, you could use maple syrup, whatever kind of sweetener. And I'm going to take a bite, because I'm always going to take a bite. All right, this is going to be really good. Okay. Oh. So good, so easy, and so fast. Your family's definitely going to enjoy this one. We're going to take another quick break. And I have one more recipe for you and then a cute little tip. So stay with us. We'll be right back. It's a sweet potato hash. Also really easy and a few steps that you can do in advance, again, the day before or even a couple days before. Primarily the sweet potato. So here I've done a sweet potato. I roasted it in the oven, and you can keep this in the refrigerator for a little while. You can do it earlier in the morning. So we'll keep this sort of to the side. Our sweet potato is already roasted, and we're going to throw in a few different vegetables. So I'm going to show you my favorite, but again, it's Thanksgiving and you guys probably will have a lot of different things around the kitchen, so get creative. We definitely want to start with an onion. Can't have hash without an onion. So we'll start here with our onion. Just going to chop, I'm just going to do everything in kind of like a nice dice for you. This is really great if you wanted to add a protein. You could absolutely add a protein, but we are just going to have some nice fresh veggies, and you guys are going to enjoy this. I always love a hash, and I think a sweet potato hash is just a nice little play. You could use regular potatoes if you want to. You can actually find already hashed potatoes in the refrigerator section of the grocery store. Another little quick and easy hack for you if you want to use regular white potatoes. But I think sort of like the appeal of this one is that we're using sweet potatoes. So we're going to throw our onion into a skillet here. We're going to add about 2 tablespoons of butter. And we're going to add some olive oil. And we'll let the onions cook. It makes prep so much easier when you know you're going to do, onions for several recipes, or you're going to do garlic, anything. You can kind of just have it ready and to the side. So while our onions are cooking down, we're just going to go ahead and add some of our other vegetables. We're going to throw a bell pepper in here. Again, you can use, whatever vegetables that you have. So I encourage you to just kind of get creative. You also want to work with whatever you have. So for me, I know that I'm going to be preparing a corn casserole. So that's just something that I'm already going to have. And I'll just like make a little bit of extra corn, whatever. So I would say definitely don't worry about buying anything super special for this hash. Just work with what you have. All right, so we'll throw some bell pepper in there. If you want, this would be a good stage to put some garlic in here. My favorite thing is stuffing. So I get really creative with my stuffings, dressings, sometimes people call them. So we'll put our peppers in here. We're also going to put some spinach. I know a lot of folks do like a creamed spinach. So I'm going to go ahead and just put a big old bunch right here on my cutting board and just kind of chop that down. This is great because you don't have to be really perfect with any of it. It's a hash, so nothing has to be a perfect dice or a perfect chop. We just want to make sure we get all these good flavors in here. For the corn, I'm using fresh corn from the cob, so I'm just going to cut those kernels down the side. I'm using 1 ear. Okay, so we'll throw our corn in here. All right. And, of course, we're going to give this a stir, and we're going to throw some salt and some pepper. So now is the time when we want to put our sweet potato, or again, regular potato if that's what you prefer, but now is the time you want to add that back in with the hash. So all of the ingredients are in together. So we're going to put our roasted sweet potato in here. And I find sweet potato to be really a crowd pleaser even for the little ones. If you don't think, the little ones are going to eat the rest of the onion and the corn, then just kind of save some to the side. But sweet potato is one of those things I think even the kids really like. So this is a good recipe. Look how beautiful and just colorful. You're going to add some salt, some pepper, and my favorite, smoked paprika. I always love the flavor, nice little smokiness. So we'll throw some smoked paprika in here. Going to give it some nice color too. And just kind of get the whole house smelling really great. Kind of like, hey guys, wake up, it's time to eat breakfast. So I think, you know, get some bacon going and some hash going. That'll get folks out of bed and downstairs, get something in their belly, and then now it's time to get out of my kitchen because I got to finish making this Thanksgiving. All right, so you'll see here, this is really great. You just want to cook this down for about 7 to 9 minutes, and then what we'll end up with is this beautiful hash we have right here. And just look, it's really great. So this isn't like your hash where everything just kind of becomes one big mess, a pile in the plate. Why I really like this is, you know, you can really see all of the different vegetables and it's just really fresh. Today's episode is everything was just really nice and really fresh and appetizing. Your family's gonna love it. We can actually put a little bit of cheese right on top if you'd like there. We still have some Reggiano from earlier, so we can grate some of that right on top. And then, you know, it's just easy to have a few things around. So one of the things I like to do is to have a bar with some nice options. I call this a granola bar, as in a granola bar. So we've got all different kinds of granola. We've got fresh berries, some dried fruit, a beautiful bowl of yogurt, milk, maple syrup. So this is sort of like a self-serve station you can set up in the kitchen so your friends, your guests, your family can come by and just kind of make themselves something to eat. And then obviously it's very easy to have, you know, just some fresh pastries, which is great, you can buy at the store. But these are all just really great tips and ideas for Thanksgiving morning or any morning when you want to feed your family and you don't have a lot of time. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. We are back next week, actually the next 2 episodes. We've got so many more tips around Thanksgiving, so make sure you join us. If it's Monday and 4 o'clock, it's time for the Hostess Next Door. Thank you so much. Have a good week.